Today we're talking about the importance of having clearly defined goals and staying focused on them. It's the second pillar of the foundation in this roadmap to life mastery, to personal fulfillment, to success, however you look at it, that we build out in the Silva Method, whether it be our 4-day immersion, the foundation program of life and intuition system, or the 2-day graduate program. So we spend a lot of time on this because it's really vitally important that you know what you want, your goals are clearly defined, and you stay focused on them. So can you relate? How many times in your own life, or perhaps the lives of people you know, you've had a goal, an aspiration, and then you walk away, you think about it, and you talk yourself out of it. Or somebody who means well talks you out. Oh, you could never do that. You got to be careful. So add a little something in there. Surround yourself with people who will champion you, who will encourage you, who will be in your corner, be in your back. They don't have to agree with you, but they'll encourage you. They believe in you. That kind of support is priceless. Well, it's important, and we know this, you know this, to have clearly defined goals and then be consistent. So you're showing up. We all know the importance of showing up, then delivering the goods consistently. And that's really the difference that makes the difference between those who are winning, who are making continuous progress, their consistency. Well, let's go a little bit deeper into this. The challenge with goals is, although it's important to know what you want, have targets, so to speak, a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly plan, 5-year, 10-year plan, absolutely. Be careful though, because you want to avoid, they can sometimes be rigid. You want to avoid them being too rigid, where you're stuck, it's got to be this. If it leads to an addiction, meaning an addiction to the outcome, an addiction to the goal, and then we don't get it, that could cause a lot of obsessive energy, a lot of worry, a lot of tension, a lot of feelings of disappointment, which will what? Raise the stress levels in the body, cause the body to have many more stress hormones, which will work against you, which will bring you out of balance, which will then cause you to not think clearly, which you'll lose energy. So it's a delicate, fine line, let's say, that we all walk that. What I want you to more think about is, have those goals, absolutely, and more focus on the big why, your intention. What is it you're driving toward? What is it you're working toward? So if you were working on your career, for example, and you're making a change in your career, or you're just starting out, know what some of the attributes, for example, some people, I've heard people say, I like to move around, I like to meet lots of people, I like to have the freedom to work for myself, or at least to make my own schedule. I want to earn at least as much as I've been earning in this present career that I want to leave, or more so. Or you're just starting out having an objective with that. So it's important to first know also your skills, your qualities, what you would like to do, the kinds of aspects that would go along in the career before you seek out something very specific. When you know what you like to do, when you know the qualities, the attributes, then you'll recognize it more clearly, more easily, and there'll be less confusion with that. And that's the power of intention. Attention tends to be more flexible. Attention allows us the flexibility to make subtle changes. It's like sailing. If you've ever been sailing before, I used to sail quite a bit in my earlier years, and you got to constantly make adjustments. Sometimes they're very slight, sometimes they're major adjustments to keep the wind in the sail so that you get to where you want to go and you enjoy the sail. And the wind can be unpredictable, it can change. And life is like that, especially today. Things are changing at such a rapid pace, and you know this. Not just technology, but in every way, that it's important to be flexible. It's important to be able to navigate with grace and ease. And having an intention makes it easier for us to navigate those waters, because invariably we're all going to experience some challenges, some difficulties. So there's intentions. And then just show up and consistent. So when you know what you want, and when you've got a big why, you'll be more easily guided with your intuition, with your heart, with that inner radar, that inner guidance, whatever you want to call it, that we all have, that will help you to recognize opportunities as they present themselves to you. You'll also tend to attract more of those opportunities because you are clear about what you want, what you're working toward, what your aspirations are. And last, yes, know what it is you want, be clear about your intention, stay focused on it, surround yourself with people who encourage you, and make sure you're in alignment. Your goals, your aspirations, or even your big picture intention is in alignment with your values. So if you have a high value interest and it's part of your character, you're concerned about the environment, well, obviously you're not going to do work in an area, in an industry that's damaging the environment, maybe even tending to destroy it. I mean, I know that's obvious, but to give you an idea what we're talking about. It reminds me of a young man who I greatly admire. It took a lot of courage. He was making better than 6 figures. He became a top performer in selling contracts and selling service contracts. And the company was not delivering as they promised and was even written. And he found himself having to clean up the mess, having to console the clients. And it got really sticky and really, tense and full of conflict. And it was beyond his control. He doesn't own the company. So he left. I think that took so much courage because it was out of his character. He knew he was doing the wrong thing by selling these contracts, these service agreements, and they weren't going to deliver the goods and stick by them. So it's important that we're following our heart and staying in integrity, working towards something we believe in. Even if you look at your investments, are you investing with your values? Are you investing your time? Are you investing your money? Are you investing your energy in the products, services, investments, whatever it might be, that are somehow, some way contributing to your big why, your aspirations, your values? When that's true and that's the case, you'll have a lot more motivation, you'll have a lot more energy, you'll have more driving you with that. So take a look at your values. Do a little bit of reflection. What's important to you? Who are the people important to you in your life? What are the opportunities that you appreciate having in your life? How do you feel about the environment? How do you feel about your community? How do you feel about all the different aspects? As an example that we've all been concerned about, we hear so often politicians saying our children are the future. Education is so important. And how very often the first budget cut is what? Education. I've stopped listening to what people say regardless. I watch their actions and what they actually do for that. And I recommend the same for you. So just wrapping it up, the second pillar toward life mastery to lead a more fulfilling life, and what I'll call the roadmap, there are 4, is having clearly defined goals or upgrade them to more of an intention. Be flexible. Make sure you're consistently applying when they're in alignment with your values. You'll be more guided with your intuition. You'll recognize opportunity. You'll more easily make the adjustments that are invariably necessary. So I hope this helps and you find it of value. I'd love to hear your comments. If you're finding it of value, please share it with others who might serve them. Make some comments. I do pay attention to them. My name is Ken Coscia. I serve as the lead instructor and international training director for the Silva Method. It's been my joy, my passion to do this work all over the world, literally since 1971, and still kicking. Thanks so much for watching to the end.